Welcome to this week's edition of QB7. This week's list, the most exciting players that I've seen as a kid, as a player, or as an analyst. Having a chance to watch them live and in person or from the tube. This week's list is going to be very interesting. Stay tuned. It's going to be amazing. Number 7, Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith was privileged to have a guy like Daryl Moose Johnson in front of him because he paved the way for Emmitt as he barreled through the holes. Emmitt was doing some great things along with a great offensive line. He was able to be very productive and efficient for the Cowboys offense, which allowed Troy Aikman to be efficient as a passer and Michael Irvin to catch balls all over the field. But when Emmitt touched the ball, it was always exciting. You always thought he could take it the distance or take it the yard. And he did a bunch of great things in his career, which made him the #1 all-time rusher, and he's in that position for a reason. Emmitt Smith, number 7. Number 6, Terrell Owens. Playing for one of my favorite teams growing up, I will have to say this. As I got older, my love for the San Francisco 49ers faded away when Terrell finally came onto the scene, but I still watched everything that he did. Combined with Jeff Garcia, it was nothing that Terrell Owens couldn't do on the football field. Every ball that was in this vicinity, he caught, whether on the outside, whether in the slot. He was amazing. And then his run after the catch was probably the thing that made him stand out. He ran like a running back. So all you had to do was put the ball in his hands. He made a lot of quarterbacks successful. Jeff Garcia, Tony Romo, and he always had his quarterbacks back, regardless of what happened. Known for the statement, "Get your popcorn ready." He was the real deal. Terrell Owens was very exciting, and I had the chance to watch him as a kid and play against him, and he was an amazing talent. Number 5, Randy Moss. All you got to do is put it up and over the shoulder, and Randy's going to get it. Historic years, man, when he was with the Minnesota Vikings, and then he went on to the New England Patriots and was even better at the tail end of his career when he was a little older. But the thing I remember about Randy Moss is that his work ethic was far beyond anybody in his category and of his caliber. He came onto the scene, was kind of freakish, 6'5", 220 pounds, and put the ball in his vicinity, and he's going to catch it. Randy Moss is on this list because he was exciting and he was must-see TV. Number 4, Marshall Faulk. Played with the greatest show on turf, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt. He was just a catalyst for their success, catching balls out the backfield, catching swing routes, catching angle routes, and even taking linebackers and safeties deep. Marshall Faulk was a guy who you can hand it off to, and he can churn out the tough yards, break the long ones, or you can pass it to him out the backfield. And Kurt Warner had some of his best years when Marshall Faulk was in his prime. Whether he was doing it with the Indianapolis Colts or the St. Louis Rams, Marshall Faulk was one of the most exciting guys, and I'm privileged to say that I had a chance to watch him when I was young and had a chance to emulate his talents and his skill set, and then watch him when he started playing with the Rams, which was exciting as well. Anybody who had a chance to watch this guy, knowing that he was a big reason that the greatest show on turf was the greatest show on turf. Number 3, Peyton Manning. Now, I didn't have a chance to watch Peyton until I got into college, but it still was an honor to watch this guy control the pace of a game, even when he was at Tennessee. I knew he was going to be great. I knew he was going to be one of the premier players once he touched foot into the NFL. This guy was amazing at what he did. The checks, the reads, the audibles, the players that he made better and greater than what they were. Now, he was surrounded by some talent with Marvin Harrison, Edgerrin James, Dallas Clark, a couple to be exact. Peyton Manning was one of the guys who paved the way for a bunch of pocket passes and guys who wanted to play the position at a high level, at a cerebral level, and make the right decisions and have their coaches trust them. Peyton Manning, number 3 on my list. Well deserving. You needed to see him in person. Number 2, this could have easily been me, but I'm going to say Lamar Jackson because of the skill set and the way he looked. I had a chance to watch him a couple weeks ago versus the Rams, and he totally annihilated their defense in 2 quarters. I ended up leaving the game early because it wasn't even a contest, and I thought it would be more of a competitive game. But what Lamar brings to the table is mismatches versus any defense. There's no way to guard him. There's no way to contain him. The only thing you can hope to do is try to make the guy play in the box and force him to make turnovers. It's very hard to do. He's a smart player, very competent, understands the game, And when he takes off with his legs, he's the most dangerous runner in the game. Almost like Barry Sanders, who will be #1 on my list, but Lamar Jackson makes the comparison. #1, Barry Sanders. Now, I'ma say this. You have to go personally watch the highlights yourself, and you will be so impressed and so amazed at the way this guy ran the football. Now, I myself patterned my game after Barry Sanders because the way he made defenders look, the way he moved in traffic, and the way he moved his hips as he shook defenders. Barry was one of the greatest runners to ever run the football, and he did it without an offensive line. His career was cut short because he chose to walk away from the game, and who knows if he would have went to another team and been able to do some of the things that he was able to do in Detroit. Barry Sanders, #1 on my most exciting list of players that I ever watched and seen play.